my name is David Fisayo and I'm the co-founder of Wealth 8. So the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, I kind of like to put them in three buckets. So there's a problem-solving aspect, persistency and perseverance, and then adaptability, which are all interconnected. So from the problem-solving, as an entrepreneur, you've essentially taken it upon yourself to solve a problem or identify a challenge that you would like to solve and provide a solution for. And I sometimes funny like to compare it to like playing a video game, where at each level you discover a new challenge that you've got to beat and you slowly become confident and complete it. And then you go to the next level and you have a new maybe set of baddies that you have to figure out how to overcome. But that's part of the fun of it, because it's fun playing the video game and it's fun solving the challenges. On the perseverance and persistency piece, it's around how do you kind of start off with a set of assumptions. You may believe that this is a problem you want to solve or have an idea around a solution, but being willing to know that things may go wrong on the way, or that actually you're going to learn things as you go, which kind of change that, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And this is where the adaptability comes in play, where you're flexible to new information you're discovering, or flexible to setbacks, but ultimately seeing this as all part of the fun journey of entrepreneurship. So embracing challenges and overcoming barriers. Challenge is part of the world of entrepreneurship, but then again, challenge is the part of the world as we live in. I found there's a challenge when my alarm went off this morning, but I was able to get up. And I think the thing is about looking at challenge as not something to be afraid of, but something that we can learn from. And also when you see barriers, again, as an opportunity to learn and what that could do for you. A very personal example of my journey to entrepreneurship is maybe about 5 years ago when I had the experience of working for the first time in a startup. And it was a music startup 3 years after university, working very alongside with a co-founding team. Learned a lot, but during that year, due to some funding challenges, the startup actually, that was looking very promising, ended up not making it through, which happens in the world of entrepreneurship. And from a personal point of view, initially I'd seen it as failure because we worked really, really, really hard to get partnerships, to try and close funding. We thought we had traction in the market, had released the product to several markets, and what made it more challenging was maybe I left the comfort zone to go and do work in that startup. So I had a comfortable graduate job. And for 3-4 months afterwards, I was unemployed, and I took it initially as a big failure. But actually, that was a great learning experience, and everything I've done after that, and this happened in like 2016, and my journey into entrepreneurship today has come from what I learned in that small space of time, from product development to marketing, to fundraising, to strategy. And I realized that the failure wasn't a bad thing, it was just part of the journey. The importance of having a growth mindset is, in life, we always aim to grow, and we will always grow, naturally. But I think when you have a growth mindset and you're actually actively setting yourself kind of up for that growth, and in a very kind of structural way, it's really, really important. Plus, it actually helps you be the best version of yourself, which is what we should all achieve to be. Plus, having a growth mindset as well will help where there may be challenges or things may not be so clear, because you're quite intentional about where you're trying to get to as an individual. So the importance of goal setting and measuring success. So I like to look at entrepreneurship kind of like being a sports player. And in the world of sports, you always kind of set out with a goal, be it where you want to be at the end of the season, be it where you want to be at the end of the race, or be it where you want to be at the end of a competition. And what that goal allows anyone to do is to understand when you've arrived at your destination. So have you achieved, or have you met your expectations? But then more importantly, it also allows you to measure your progress against the targets that you may have set your business or set yourself as an individual. And if you do not have that goal, it becomes hard to be able to understand the progress that you're making. So it really allows you to kind of use key kind of indicators to understand if you've achieved. But then also, if you do not achieve, this is now a tool you could use to learn from that and go, okay, what did I do to achieve it at this point in time? And how can I change that later or in the next project or the next kind of big campaign I'm running to achieve my objectives? So opportunities to build my network and how other founders could utilize that is, I think the power of networks in the world of entrepreneurship at business is just phenomenal. And I think from the point of view of having support systems to secondly actually being able to connect with individuals that can help you bring ideas to life or support your business. And I look at myself, for instance, in my current business, my co-founder and I met each other through a network. And the initial interaction we had in our network with kind of family friends, we did not know we were going into business together. And the initial discussions we had was because I knew she worked in the space of wealth management and she knew I had experience in fintech, and we were brought together based off that interest and down the line became founders. That's the power of how that networking could lead into something. And opportunities to develop networks. I think joining communities such as Foundervine, which is great, communities where other people with similar interests go, be it founders or be it designers or be it developers. But if you put yourself in rooms where other people with similar interests are, you also then begin to meet people which become your network as well. So I think it's very, very important to have a kind of founder network to support you. And from a very personal perspective, I look at it now, one of my friends / mentors is someone that's been a founder for a lot longer than I have. And in the most simplest situations, it's having someone you can bounce ideas off, but having someone you can go to maybe when things are not going so well, and someone who can relate and understand your situations. And I think the power of that is that maybe sometimes in the world of entrepreneurship, you may not believe that friends and family might have a deep understanding of what it is you do and how you're doing it. So sometimes it might become hard to have certain discussions because you may not believe people have perspective. But when you surround yourself around other founders, one is that you realize that everyone goes through probably what you're going through in a different way, and that will give you some comfort. Two, I would say if someone has experienced something, instead of you trying to start from 0 to 100, try and find someone that's experienced it, which allow you to maybe go from 60 to 100 or 70 to 100. So the power of this support system in this situation becomes very, very important. And my one top tip to a founder that's just starting out in the startup ecosystem would be to start firstly, which is, and by the meaning of that, it's if you're just starting off, make sure you're focusing your efforts in the early days and actually doing practical things to take your idea from the first stage to it becoming a business. Secondly will be solve and focus and have an obsession around the problem and not your solution. So really, really focus on the problem, the customers behind it, and develop your solution kind of afterwards. And then lastly will be to ensure you continuously speak with your customers. So never get honed or kind of locked in on your idea or your solution and forget about the customers that you are trying to solve a problem for, as they should always be the primary focus.